Hello guys again. It is time for the last sub-chapter of the fourth chapter, and in this recording I am going to show you how to use a trend line. I know that the concept is simple. Every trader in this world has heard about trend lines, knows how to deal with them. However, a trend line, it is a line that connects a top or a bottom of a leg with the next higher low if talking about a move to the upside, respectively with the lower high if you are talking about a move to the downside. Now, from my point of view, a trend line, the MetaTrader allows you to take a trend line from here like that and just draw a trend line. Let me make this, let me change the color, let me make this black. So, MetaTrader allows you to pick your trend line from the tab called, of course, trend line. So just click, put it on the chart wherever you like, and drag. If you want to copy the trend line and make one identical like this one, just select it. So double click on it, then push the control tab on your keyboard and double click it again. And if you drag it, there you go. You have a new trend line identical with this one. Or you can make actually unlimited trend lines based on the same concept. Now let me delete this. And you should be aware when dealing with trend lines that trend lines actually should be treated exactly like they are. The line of a trend. There is, until the trend line is broken, well, the trend is keep going up. For example, this is a 1 hour chart, okay? And let's go a little bit into, let me delete these ones, and let's go a little bit into the history and try to identify a place, okay, or something to take into consideration. For example, these lows in here. So your trend line, for example, for these lows in here would be something like this, okay? So it connects a previous low, the low, with a previous higher low, then higher than the one on the left, and this is the line of your trend. Now, if you want to be even more aggressive, then your new trend line could be something like this, okay? And until the trend line is being broken, basically the trend is not going to change. Or even, for example, it can be even more aggressive, something like this. So this should be your trend line. Again, connecting a low with the next higher low, and this should be your trend line to the upside. Now, what do you do? Let's say that this is your trend line to the upside. So, in order to, and you become bearish all of a sudden. In order for the trend line to be broken, it must be not, let's say, just broken like that, and let's say you should change your original trend line from here. No, from my point of view, this is the main reason why traders fail to draw. To properly draw a trend line, because from my point of view a trend line is dynamic, it should change. For example, this is your high in here, okay? So let's say that this is your high. Let's take a shape and put it like this. So if this is your high and this is your trend line, normally by the moment the trend line is being broken, normally you should take another trend line from here and look for the channel to the downside. But what I suggest, and I also wrote this on the text accompanying this recording, is to wait for the next swing. For example, this trend line that is being broken in here, this is the low, just wait for a new swing to come, okay? And this is the new swing. So, for example, from this moment on, if the price from this moment on, let me take a vertical line like this. So from this moment on, if the price has turned to the downside again and would have made a new low compared with this one on the left, then your trend line would have been from the previous high, okay, to the new swing, and this would be your trend line to the downside, and the price actually should have stayed in here. But since the price, you see the price coming from the downside, and it is not making a new swing, but opposite, it makes a new high, see, in E. Then your trend line for the trend, it is still to the upside. It is the same trend line from here, but it is taking from this low in here to this higher low, like this. Okay, and this should be your trend line for the move to the upside to come. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say, is that from my point of view, a trend line should not be fixed, but it should vary according to what price does. So if you are looking at a rising trend like it was our situation in here, then you should start from the recent low like we started, and after the price started to rise, wait for the next swing to the downside and draw the trend line only after the recent highs are being taken. So these are the highs and the recent highs are being taken, and this should be your trend line draw correctly this time. The same it is valid for a trend to the downside, for example. Take a look in here. Let's suppose that you identify this as being a proper top for your analysis. And then what should you do? You have the trend line from the downside. This is a trend line from the downside like this. And then price is coming and breaks the trend line. So it breaks it. Wait for a new swing, okay? So don't jump drawing another trend line. Wait for a new swing. Here you go. You have the swing in here. And then you make a new low compared with this one. And from this moment of time, your trend line should become from the recent high that you have on the left on the screen, and it should connect these highs like this. And then take a look what price does. Price is coming from the downside now, breaks the trend line, okay? Breaks the trend line, wait for a new swing. So from this moment of time, if you take a vertical line and place it in here, from this moment of time actually, you are looking on the left side of the chart. And in here, if you were to make a new high, then your trend line would have become like this, okay? But you didn't make a new high compared with this one, just the opposite. You make a new low compared with this one. So by the time you broke the low in here, this is not valid anymore. And your trend line that was to the downside like this, it is just moving to the next lower high, and this should be your trend line for the move to the downside. Okay? It is not a difficult concept. It's not a difficult concept, but it should be worth it that many traders fail to do so. For example, they just take a trend line like this, and if it is being broken, like this fake move is up here, they would say, oh my god, this is not good, the trend is broken, let's go long. Well, no, you should learn to consider the trend line as a dynamic instrument that you should have in your trading tool. Otherwise, the trend will continue unless the trend line is being broken. Now, this is a very simple and yet extremely useful tool, and it should be treated with confidence. I wanted to include this trendline chapter into the fourth chapter because even though it is not a pattern, I felt the need that because of its dynamic move and because I've seen so many wrong drawings for this simple trend line, I felt the need to present it. It is this recording that ends the chapter 4, and the next 5, the fifth chapter, chapter 5, it is dealing with more serious stuff, something like trading theories. We're going to take a look at the Elliott wave theory, at Andrew's pitchfork, how to identify it, how to place it on the chart, what does it mean, and of course we'll take a short look at one of my favorites, traders of all times, W.D. Gunn. So until next time, stay safe on the markets, and let's go to chapter 5.